The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, Prime Minister Davis on the defensive after one of the morning dailies questioned the budget surplus he announced in May, zeroing in on the month of April in particular, which instead shows a deficit. Long Island Member of Parliament Adrian Gibson questioning how the Davis administration plans to fund the Deadman's Key International Airport. We talk about that. Also tonight, Communications Director in the Office of the Prime Minister taking issue with one of the FNM's leading managers of its election campaign being a permanent fixture in the media. So here's a question for you. Is it nitpicking, or is there a real issue with what may see or seem to be seen as political advantage? Also discuss that. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. Let's get started tonight. It's become a political and media row, this standoff between the nation's leader and a prominent newspaper. At the center of it all, the 2025 national budget, a projected surplus, and a demand for greater transparency. We get the story from Delana Roca, and then I come back and I discuss.
I would expect responsible journalists to look at what the facts are. The headline speaks of this April deficit, they say of 2-point-something million. That will throw my prediction of surplus off. Well, that's far from the truth. How could April 25 deficit impact a surplus that I have predicted for 25-26?
In a sharp rebuke, Davis suggested the paper's coverage was fueled by political bias, intended to undermine public confidence and sway voters ahead of the next election. He defended his administration's economic track record, insisting the financial lifeline of the country has never been stronger, and urged journalists to focus on facts, not feelings. Meanwhile, amid the firestorm, a statement from the Office of the Prime Minister sought to clarify concerns about April's surplus estimates. The statement reads in part, in the 2025-2026 budget communication, it was made clear that the fiscal data presented for April 2025 was preliminary and subject to revision. The variance between the initial surplus estimate and the finalized figures is primarily the result of late postings by the Treasury. Particularly related to interest expenses on T-bills, this is a normal part of the reconciliation process between preliminary and final monthly fiscal data. It goes on to reassure the public that all indicators continue to point towards a full year deficit falling within the projected range of 0.3 to 0.7% of GDP, adding the government remains committed to sound fiscal management, accurate reporting, and full transparency throughout the budgetary process. End quote.
I know this is a political season, and this was under the hands of Candia Dames, who's supposed to be a seasoned journalist. We'd expect her to do her homework. Not just drink the Kool-Aid of the FNM as who her brother is running for. The Guardian and Ms. Dames ought to apologize to the Bahamian people for that headline and for misleading the public.
However, the Prime Minister extending an invitation to Dames for a face-to-face conversation.
I'd hoped she'd come here herself so I could speak to her directly, because we know that she ought not to allow her biasness of her politics or against me or anybody else to influence her writing.
Well, Prime Minister Davis there with very, very strong words as a result of that article. But the question remains, people are saying, make it clearer. How is it that we can see what was reported really was in the month of April, there was a surplus position of $135.4 million, and a newly published report, monthly fiscal performance report by the Ministry of Finance says, listen, there was no surplus. In fact, a $2.1 million deficit in the month of April. Well, we're going to get to the bottom of it, and I love bringing the experts here so they can explain to all of us, and all of us have a better understanding. Alfred Portier, a financial services executive and analyst, joins me this evening. It's good to have you here. Thank you very much for being here. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. Alfred, let's get started. Let's just talk about this. Finances and budgets and all these various terms could be quite tricky to the average person in terms of understanding. But what is happening when people are saying, oh, this budget surplus is really just projecting, forecasting, envisioning, but you said you made this in the month of April, and here's this report that just came out and say, no, you did not.
Right. So it's very easy to create controversy and hysteria when you deal with subjects that the masses don't quite understand in depth. Most Bahamians, and this is from my experiences, this is one of my projects, community projects. I go into civic organizations, churches, and I give free counseling, personal financial management, which entails a budget. Mm-hmm. In order to understand the country's budget for the masses, let me break it down simplistically for a budget for you as an individual, me as an individual.
Yes.
When I sit down to do my budget, I take into consideration certain givens. I know I make X amount of money. I usually spend X amount of money. So I take into consideration the money that I know that I will make, and I take into consideration the regular expenses that I will have. There are times when I exceed those expenses. There are times when I spend less. And then there are times even with my income. I might get a bonus, or I might pick up overtime, or I might get some extra income. Mm-hmm. The budget is a management tool to help me get to an end point. Mm-hmm. The budget is fluid.
Meaning it
changes.
Means
it changes.
And so when he said
there's
preliminary,
variations and changes.
Right. So preliminary, meaning that he used what he had at the time in terms of information.
Exactly.
And now that the report has been completed to show what April did and how it performed, then this is what we're seeing.
That's right. And that's how budgets work.
The question in the article said that, listen, if the government or the Ministry of Finance, the Prime Minister can be so off, how can you then respect and also hold them to what the surplus will look like in the next year?
Okay. So, I read with interest what was said by the Shadow Minister of Finance. I read the article, and I understand the Prime Minister's position. You cannot deny that there's a huge difference. But let's not compare apples to oranges. If you're talking about the 2024-25 budget, that budget, the government did not say there will be a surplus at the end of the day. The surplus that the government spoke of is the 2025-2026 budget. Mm-hmm. April was in regards to the fiscal year that ended July 30th.
June 30th.
June 30th, sorry, because the new fiscal year in the Bahama starts July 1st.
Yes. Okay?
So when you want to take those numbers and you want to look at it, yes, there's a variation, but I explain in as basic as I can why variations would occur. Mm-hmm. Now that huge difference needs to be examined. Mm-hmm. I agree. Mm-hmm. But I also, from where I sit, from my experiences, from my training, I also understand that when you're talking about the level of funding that a country would need to operate, to be honest, $100 million is a drop in the bucket, comparatively speaking. Because with $100 million, when you look at what is, and I'm just using this as an example, what is the monthly expense for civil servants, salaries. Does that cover that?
I imagine not.
Okay, that's my point exactly. So it's all relative. Yes, we need to be concerned, but
But what is it?
let's understand that there are mechanisms in place.
To find where that money went?
Well, it's not a matter of where the money went.
Yeah.
Either, okay, it's clear where the money went. Because if you go to Bahamas government budget or finance, it's all online. The government posts that information online.
Right.
Right? And it shows you the variations in every sector. What I'm saying is, very simply put, that when you look at the variation that people are creating hysteria about, it has a check and balance. There is, under statute, under law, if X amount, and they speak to this, well, the shadow ministers speak to this. If there's a variance for so much amount, it has to go back to Parliament, right? And I hate the fact that people want to try and make it seem as if some money is missing somewhere, because it's not a matter of money missing.
Because that's the
It's-
impression.
It's not.
That's the impression
And-
out there,
and
and almost as you saw, like who can you trust now, or can you trust this administration
see-
with this big question mark over April's first reported amount?
And that is so wrong. And the simple example is this. Let's just say you got sick, and we're talking about the personal budget. You have not worked for 3 months, right? You didn't get paid for 3 months. So when you look at your budget at the end of the day, you can be short. There will be a deficit because the income that you had initially planned for, you didn't get, right? Or let's just say a tree fall on your roof and you have no insurance. You have to pay to fix your roof. Again, your budget will be affected.
So you're saying that what even the national budget operates like you move this from there to meet that, to do this and do these different things.
Exactly. Very simple. And, I hate when people try to complicate things and make things what they're not. Because when it comes to numbers, I don't care how you try to fudge the numbers, at some point, the truth comes out because the numbers don't lie.
So those
Period.
numbers. So then you were saying tonight what it is that many of us novices are trying to figure out and understand, and not be pulled in by to say, wait a minute now. You were trying to say there can be no fudging of numbers based on what the Prime Minister initially presented and what the Ministry of Finance's monthly fiscal report showed.
There are standards of accounting. And the budget that they had put out is the guideline. That is the management tool, the document that they want to manage against. When you go to work to do your job as a manager, supervisor, you may come in with an agenda. This is what you want to do. But there are circumstances at times that prevents you from getting that done. The budget is the same exact way. But what makes a good manager of a budget is when you have a month where you went out of sync, you try to recoup in the following months. You continuously monitor your budget and you find ways to cut costs, do whatever you need to do, increase revenue to reach at the end goal, which is the bottom line at the end of the day. Right? So I understand the conversation about, well, if they don't, if the government might have some expenses that they're not putting through based on the cash flow schedule or cash flow policy that they have in place, they want to put it through the next financial period, right? Which would be the next fiscal year now. So that wouldn't even give they're saying that the end result may not be accurate. Okay, which government has not done that, right? But here's the thing. If you are prudently managing your budget, even if you have some carryovers from the previous year, you already had a mechanism in your new budget for that under contingencies.
Okay.
So don't make a mountain out of a molehill.
So you're saying you would just sort of sum this all up as what? Mischief? Mischief
All I'm
making?
saying is Understand and simplify the process for people. Don't make it seem as this is an extraordinary thing that has never happened before, that don't happen. Financial institutions, personal persons, regular business houses, when it comes down to the budgets, they suffer differences. But the goal is to manage it properly overall so that at the end of the day, you reach your goal.
So at the end of the day, you reach that balance that is desired.
Exactly.
And so the fact that this $2.1 million deficit was shown in the month of April, the point is, once you get that balanced out, because budgets are, you say, a living document, parts are moving always, as long as everything is accounted for and it's proven to be accounted for, no fudging of numbers, etc. You're saying this is what happens.
Exactly.
Every
you
time,
have 12 months. Why are you going to single out just 1 month and make that the focus of attention? Oh, this is terrible. Okay, show me any organization who every month consistently meet budget. A budget is a plan. You working towards that. It don't always work out that way.
What would you want to say to the Bahamian people tonight who sat back today and watched all the row, watched the different exchanges, saw the Prime Minister even live address this matter and speak to it, and even saw, of course, our report just a moment ago? What would you want to say to them in terms of the way that the nation is being managed fiscally, and also that projected surplus that was so applauded at the end of May at the same time?
So, very carefully, know exactly what a budget is, all right? It was said that the budget is the most important document in the country. And I will say the budget is an important document, but the management of the budget is more important, right? Because you can have a budget that can say anything, but if you're not working towards fulfilling the objectives and the goals, the targets set in that budget, it means nothing. Don't get caught up in idle shadow. 1 + 1 always equals 2.
And so we shouldn't see this as something, because I spoke with a number of financial experts like yourself, and they were like, yeah, but we must understand that $2.1 million deficit. We must understand and ask where that $43.5 million, what is that about? That needs explaining. Who is it that didn't properly inform the Prime Minister or put him out there to announce that number and put that number out there?
The Prime Minister is CEO of the country, right? In order for documents to be, in order for financials to be prepared, in order for the Prime Minister to notify the public of the financial position, he has to wait until the financial persons do their accounting and provide them with reports, right? This Prime Minister, I understand, is a very, he is not a reactive, he is a proactive person. He wants the people to know what is going on in real time. So if someone comes to you and say, look, the preliminary findings are this, right then and there that tells you, okay, this is not the final document. They're still waiting on information. Something else is to come, right? So with that being the case, when you talk about the conversation that's being had about this $2.1 million in deficit for 1 month out of 12, this preliminary, let's wait and see what the end result of the 2024-25 fiscal year performance of the Bahamas is. And then you can make some noise, because that will then tell you how much, or possibly if there's a carryover into the new budget that can affect the hoped for surplus. And keep in mind, hope for, again, budgets are projections. It's not written in stone, it's not a guarantee. You get technical, you get background information, you do technical projections, but it's still not a fixed science where you know this is going to be the end result.
Alfred Portier, thank you so much. You and many in your sphere, in your field, I tell you, this is what you all do every day. Look at numbers, make sense of numbers, and try to explain it to us novices. But I thank you because you provided just a bit of greater insight to understand what a national budget is, how it moves, how it sort of maneuvers, and also in this instance, also about that April reporting and how that could have obviously, again, preliminary, and how it now shows what it is, but did it meet the end goal, which was June 30th, 2025. I thank you very much for stopping by. I know my Hot Topics panelists have a lot to say about that and give their opinions, and so we will hear from them when we come back. This is Beyond the Headlines. Don't go anywhere. We're just getting started. More in a moment.
Shop early to get your uniforms and get Janae's Uniform Center's buy 4 get 1 free sale. Pre-monogrammed and regular school shirts, dry fit and cotton polos, jumpers, skirts, boys long and short pants, PE shorts, underclothes, tights, socks, neckties, belts, sleeping mats, hair accessories and character work desk. Get 50% off backpacks, lunch bags and raincoats. Buy 4 school shirts, get 1 free. Buy 2 skirts, jumpers or pants, get the third 50% off. Need embroidery and monogramming done? Visit Janae's Uniform Center early. Beat the back to school rush. Janae's Chesapeake Road back to school special. Restrictions apply.
Welcome to Blissful Escapes, where luxury meets affordability. Whether you're seeking relief from aches and pains or simply looking to indulge in some well-deserved pampering, relax and detox in our infrared sauna. Enjoy a soothing Swedish massage or an invigorating exfoliating body scrub. We also provide advanced facial treatments using cutting-edge technology, including hydrofacial, microneedling, and microcurrent therapies, located at the shops of Cable Beach Plaza.
Comfort Suites Paradise Island is the best kept secret in the Bahamas. Located directly next door to the Atlantis Resort, you'll receive all the privileges of an Atlantis guest with all the benefits of a Comfort Suite stay. Enjoy everything Atlantis has to offer, including Aquaventure Water Park, plus all the amenities of Comfort Suites. Free Wi-Fi, free breakfast daily, and kids stay, play, and eat free. Visit ComfortSuitesPI.com.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
You work hard to provide for and protect the ones you love. However, life can present unexpected challenges. Who you call in times of need matters. Insurance Management is a Bahamian-owned company that has been serving our community for over 40 years, offering a wide range of coverage for all of your personal, professional, and commercial needs. When life happens, rest easy knowing that our skilled and experienced agents are there for you in your time of need, so that you can get back to what matters most. Insurance Management. Nobody does it better.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. I want to just insert this here before we move on. Leader of the Free National Movement, Michael Pintard, is condemning Prime Minister Davis's rebuke of the veteran journalist. Pintard says the country's chief and Minister of Finance is doubling down on questionable claims of a budget surplus that has been scrutinized by the press. Now, Michael Pintard is now demanding that Davis apologizes to the public. However, Prime Minister Davis asserts that no lies were told. He maintains his calls for the reporter to apologize to the public for the allegedly misleading article stands. Well, we're going to shift gears now. Linton Ritchie is in Grand Bahama, and you all have been seeing what's going on in Grand Bahama. There's still a lot of excitement over the Grand Bahama Gombe Festival. It's all happening around the whole opening of Celebration Key. I tell you, this entire week has been amazing for the island. Linton Ritchie joins me live now from Grand Bahama. Hello, Linton. I see behind you there is a lot of action, and the Gombe Festival is in full swing.
Good evening, Shanique. That's right. Coming to you live from Grand Bahama from the second week of the annual Gombe Bahamas Cultural Festival. Now, here in Grand Bahama, I can tell you that Bahamian culture is on full display, and I'm talking that the locals are here enjoying it, and also the tourists too. Earlier today, we spoke with some tourists who say they were excited to experience all things Bahamian, and that they're doing. Now, I'm joined with Donna's Bush Tea and Drink, some employees. You guys can come over for me. Now, Shanique, I know that you love everything lifestyle and all healthy, so I went searching for Miss Donna. You know, I said, hey, Shanique love everything healthy, so I'm bringing her over. And tell me a little bit about what you're offering here tonight at Gombe Festival.
Okay, my sister will explain. We have a lot of delicious, beneficial bush teas and drinks. And we have starting off with the fever grass, ginger, lemon. We have the soursop that I pureed for my yard, my backyard. We also have the mango that I pureed from my backyard. We have the ginger lemon. We have beets. We have cucumbers. All things beneficial and delicious for this time of the season that takes care of colds and flus.
And what's the response been like from locals and tourists about these bush teas?
Great. The tourists love them. They want to take them back home with them. Of course, I'm getting ready to make the tea bags that they can take them back home also.
So you're exploring into tea bags as well, some healthy tea bags.
Yes, we're going to be doing the healthy tea bags as well, that the tourists can take them back home and the natives can enjoy them. I also ship them into Nassau as well, parties and everything.
Well, you just heard Shanique from representatives of Donna's Bush Teas and Drinks. You want to hold those up for me? This is the passion fruit and this is the beet juice. And I can tell you that right before we went live to you, Shanique, I tried the beet, and I'm not a fan of beets, but I'm a fan of this. So, of course, as you heard, she said that they'll be exploring into tea bags and also national shipping as well. So, Shanique, if I'm able to get my hands on any of these and bring them back to you, then that I will do. But, of course, reporting live here from the Bahamas Gombe Festival, I'm Linton Ritchie Jr., sending it back to you in Nassau at the desk, Shanique.
Linton is having a ton of fun. I didn't even know he was going to be there for a week, but I tell you, he's giving us a new look at Grand Bahama and all that new energy. I'm going to bring in my Hot Topics panelists right now. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Richard Johnson and Glenroy Pratt. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Shanique. Good to be here. Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas.
It's good to have you here. You know, I'll tell you, Richard, I'll ask you, because when I saw you walk in the door, I said, does Richard understand this show? Richard, I'm happy you wear this white jacket over this blue shirt.
Yes.
Because this blue shirt, and look at Justin then, put you alone on the camera.
Right.
Glenroy, what is this blue shirt that Richard is wearing, and what does it say?
Well, I don't know. I'm trying to figure out myself. I just feel, let me show you. So I just... Oh, what a blind me. Yeah.
Listen, Richard.
This is what I'm wearing tonight.
Richard, well, I expect
I just feel brave.
You feel brave tonight.
I feel brave.
I feel the next time Glenroy come on, then
Wow.
Glenroy will be wearing something because it's not because I'll tell you this. I was just stunned when he walked in. I'm like, what, Richard? What happened? But listen, I want you all to quickly let's talk about. What's happening? Yes, Linton is at the Gombe Festival this evening, but last evening he went and talked about the various sites, the nature trails, because Grand Bahama really is rich in so much it has to offer. And then, of course, we know the Celebration Key and all that happened at the weekend. Your thoughts on what is now looking like a revival, a resurgence of the Grand Bahama economy?
Well, you know, it's certainly a great opportunity for Grand Bahamians to finally claw their way out of what has been a terrible experience over the last several years relative to growth and development and in the personal economic development. And some Grand Bahamians, I'm sure, that are migrated to different islands and now probably coming back home to, reestablish themselves.
They're so happy about that. People are returning home, we're told.
And that's a good thing, and I just hope that as we continue to, take advantage of these opportunities, that we divest in such a way that is just not totally relying on one industry, because we all know how fickle this industry is and the challenges that it can face. We just need to ensure that the investments are sometimes not just reliant solely on just presence, but we have technology that we can use that people don't have to be able to generate income just by being present, but even through the technological means, and that way it sustains them, even if things slow in that island in terms of tourism and all the other stuff.
Right, there are other things that are happening. Richard, you're passionate about Grand Bahama. Your thoughts about what you are witnessing play out?
I'm excited, Shanique. I think myself and Glenroy's mother's from Grand Bahama. And so, again, as Grand Bahamians, we're excited. Time for us to come home. I'm ready to come home now. They get a piece of the pie. And so to see that Grand Bahamians are celebrating with Celebration Key, the island is particularly moving with the festivals, Gombe, et cetera, people are saying, listen, things are moving. Look, it's happening. The airport is on the agenda now to be done. And so, again, we need it. It's long overdue. Hurricane Franz and Jane have decimated Grand Bahama's economy. We have got up, got back down, got down, get up. So again, you're seeing it, getting it where it needs to be. And so we just need to ensure that people who have like-minded are willing and prepared to ensure that the island's economy get where it needs to get. And so I'm excited about what's happening right now.
And that Grand Bahamians too, listen, jump in, take advantage, go and carve out your own niche, do something. Because, just based on what was announced even by the Grand Bahama Development Company, there's just so much more in the pipeline. Jump in. Jump in where you fit in. Meanwhile, though, Long Island Member of Parliament Adrian Gibson is raising questions on how the Davis administration will fund its proposed renovation to the Deadman's Key International Airport. Last week, officials signed a $20 million deal with the Bahamas Hot Mix for extensive repairs to the runway. Well, tonight, Gibson accuses the Davis administration of playing political games with that signing. Have that right now, that soundbite, but let's just talk about what we can imagine Gibson is saying. Listen, is this political posturing or do you all mean business? What's happening?
No offense to Adrian Gibson, he's a personal friend of mine. When I first went to Long Island for the first time in Loretta Butler Turner, I was shocked and embarrassed to see that Long Island, who represented the Free National Movement for time immemorial, has been neglected from the roads, from the docks, particularly that airport. And so I believe, I can't, Adrian Gibson is in Parliament. He can answer, he could put the tough questions to the government as it relates to where that funding is coming. I hope that he should be aggressive on them. But you're seeing Long Islanders who traditionally supports the F&M, particularly now saying, listen, man, if you pave one part of that road, Long Island, or the airport, we will support the Progressive Liberal Party. And so, again, it is questionable because it might be questionable to Adrian Gibson. Moreover, I believe that Long Island is long overdue. It is being neglected. And I will say that the Free National Movement has done a poor job in ensuring that Long Island has the needs, has the adequate needs. Adrian Gibson was not in cabinet. He was the former chairman of Water and Sewage. And I think he did a phenomenal job in Water and Sewage. But as the government as a whole, I think the F&M has failed Long Island. And I make no apologies for that.
Is work happening, though? Because you can sign, I guess he is saying, okay, you signed this last week, but when will the work start in any meaningful way? What's happening already in Long Island to show that, listen, things are moving in Long Island as well?
I believe the road works are happening currently in Long Island. I see ministry works are down there. The airport, last week I think there was a ceremony with regards to what's going to happen with the airport. I think it's a move afoot. It's going to happen. I don't know. Well, we know how government works, Shanique. Government doesn't move today. But obviously, the people of Long Island are excited about it. Things are going to happen in Long Island. The people feel, listen, this is going to happen. This is tangible. This is no longer lip service. Again, I will say this, Shanique, that Adrian Gibson, as the Member of Parliament, did all he can do because he was just a chairman of the Water and Sewage. But the government itself, the former government, the F&M, failed Long Island over the years.
Glenroy, your thoughts?
Well, Long Island is not without its challenges like any other island in the Bahamas. I mean, and when you consider the fact that Long Island had some devastating hurricane itself and some major flooding in its wake.
Yes.
And so obviously I'm sure that contributed to some of the challenges that they faced. Adrian Gibson is correct in the sense that he's asking the questions as a good member of parliament would ask for his constituents, because we don't need to hear stories like money in the bank and then discover that it's not really in the bank. And furthermore, what possibly could be at play here is the fact that this deficit that we see that is $100 and something million short, I think maybe 20 million coming out of that to fix the roads. You just never know.
Of course, we had that discussion at the top of the show. We all await further details. But listen, you all, here, how about this? I really want to hear you guys weigh in on this one. Communications Director in the Office of the Prime Minister, Latre Raming, filing a formal complaint against Guardian Radio to the Utilities Regulation and Competition Authority, that's IRCA, amid concerns of bias. This as representative for the official opposition, Free National Movement, Earl Thompson, is said to be a substitute host for the talk show. However, Raming is raising concerns that this creates an unchecked environment for political partiality. Now, Eyewitness News have reached out to Thompson for comments. Up to news time, our calls were not returned. However, I spoke with an executive at IRCA who said the complaint is being investigated to determine if a breach was or is being committed. Now, that investigation is now ongoing, and they are looking into Raming's official complaint. But gentlemen, your thoughts about Latre saying, listen, Earl has no right. And, let me stop, my words. Earl being on the radio could possibly, one, be political advantage and also bring about political mischief on his part.
Well, I'll say this, right? I can't speak specifically to this particular instance, and if that is the case, no political party should be having the upper edge in terms of having pundits or whatever speak on their behalf in a forceful way, in a consistent manner.
You mean somebody who officially wears the hat?
Yeah. Correct, right? I don't believe in that, period, on either side. But ironically, the PLP is complaining about it. When I last checked, 3 or so individuals who were really a part of the media are now employed by the government. In fact, more than 3. And so I think it's a bit hypocritical to now talk about it when it doesn't suit your favor. But at the same time, I do not support it on any level.
Well, Shanique, I will. If I was me, I was going to be the bailiff. I was going to kick, drag, and kick Earl Thompson of that show on Monday. He is a disgrace. He uses that pulpit to bring down people, particularly people who don't support his narrative. I think Latre Raming is right in saying
he attacks people personally.
Well, like the show, but as you know, Earl Thompson is the PR man for the F&M.
He is.
So again, if you watch the show and you see who go on the show, I've seen it, Shanique. I can send you a collage of people who've been on the show over the last 6 months to a year. You don't see anybody from other private sector or the PLP or
in a way, I don't blame. Listen, Earl Thompson pushing F&M. Who are you gonna bring on?
Well, if you're pushing F&M, we will read the document as to what Latre would have written as again what the breach is, and maybe by him writing that, there is a breach. Earl Thompson needs to get that show. He's a basket case and he's a disgrace. He's too biased. And you shouldn't be on the television on the show being biased.
But I'll tell you this.
You ain't biased, Shanique.
No.
You fair?
No, I'm not biased.
It's called you biased, but you ain't biased.
No, I'm not biased.
Okay.
No, you were different.
But Earl Thompson biased.
You were different matter. I feel as though let Earl Thompson do what Earl Thompson is doing. Everybody know the hat he wears. Now, Glenroy, you raised a point that I didn't really think about before. Mm-hmm. Anyone wearing an official hat of any political organization maybe should not be hosting or a prominent fixture on any show in a political season.
Correct.
But I just sort of like let her talk whatever you're talking.
No, Shanique, you got to be accountable.
And especially when it comes to the national, what they call the national broadcast station.
Yes.
That is a tricky one.
But Earl got to be accountable.
Or he's on Guardian Radio.
But Earl...
No, I'm talking in general though, because
okay.
there are times that we have persons from represented parties that are on the national station, as they call it, spewing their party's rhetorics and all this other stuff. I think there should be a balanced scenario where individuals who may be guests and pundits may come on and speak. But individuals who have obviously more to gain can certainly have a narrowed view. And
You're right, and that is why I shifted. I shifted to only, and people. I'll tell you, Justin, I hear you. One second. It was said that, hey, Shanique, hold up, what's up? You look biased nowadays. Your show is bought. The people who you see on this show have been on the show for years.
That's right.
I never asked them their political position.
That's right.
I made an attempt recently to bring a known whomever, because my thing is, no, these people have been here for years. I've been able to count on them. And whatever their views are is the views we going with. Now, when we have special interviews from special people, it's a political season, and we know those in politics know how the political season works. So when you come on, that's a different matter. But again, I guess I can see where you guys are saying once you wear an official hat and you are officially in the race for something, then it's a slightly different set of rules. So we'll see that. But listen, when we come back, I will ask these guys. I'll ask these guys where they see the hotly contested seats, who they see, how this playing out, and where we ought to keep our attention focused in on. Beyond the Headlines is back right after this.
As we continue to develop the orange economy of the Bahamas and empower our artists and artisans, we as a government intend to show tangible support. We are therefore requesting our Bahamian artists and artisans to submit images of their handmade, authentically made Bahamian products and prices as we move to produce a live digital booklet with Bahamian-made works. With the creation of a live booklet, artisans can always submit new works to be included. It is our intent to use this book as a catalog for the purchase of items by all senior government officials for gifts, display items, and the like. Ministers, permanent secretaries, members of parliament, and ambassadors will be supporting our orange economy by the purchase of items and in sharing this book to the wider global creative community. We are committed to grow and expand the orange economy of the Bahamas.
Win a brand new 2026 GAC MPOW every week for 5 weeks. Every 10 reward points earns you 1 digital entry. The more entries you gain, the better your chances to win. 5 weeks, 5 cars. Will you be one of our lucky winners? Catch the keys today, only at Island Luck. Island Luck reminds you that it's only a game, so game responsibly.
So you want a space. But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience, with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Of course, you saw the ad a moment ago. We welcome you, particularly in this season, to come on board Beyond the Headlines. We have excellent packages for you, whether they be special interviews. Speaking of politics, listen, bring your political interviews, your organization. We welcome it all. Contact the sales department and get you here. And if you have a business, obviously this is the time to be seen and to obviously join the Beyond the Headlines family as well. So look forward to welcoming you as well. We are now going to go into this aspect of the show where we're going to talk about where are the the seats that people must pay attention to, the races that will be so hot that you're going to be on the edge of your seat. During the break, both Richard and Glenroy said, listen, Shanique, have you been watching what's played out recently in Bamboo Town? And I said, yes, I did. I know that the chairman of the branch, I think, made her media rounds earlier in the week. And we heard her speak, but let me see what these guys have to say about that, because I asked the question even then, Monday night, I think it was, like, was Wells led on? Richard, Glenroy, your thoughts?
Well, my personal view is that I don't believe that the party made a right decision in that view, in that instance. I really believe that Wells demonstrated that he was working. He was on the ground. I don't think there was anybody who actually put their hat in the ring to actually have that particular location. I believe that he is stuck by the people. The people know him. They're familiar with him. And I believe that there are opportunities, because politics is a game of numbers, not attrition. If we are in an attrition state, you cannot win an election. And so when you talk about offending a grouping of people that may have found themselves favoring somebody that was walking the beat every day and all that other stuff, what happens now is their voices now become stifled in that direction for the party, and they now support that individual in a different fashion, and now you have a grouping of people that they can influence that now follows them. And so I believe there was a misstep there, and I believe that, in all honesty, I know that they probably think that it's going to work itself out. The challenge is that Bahamians are very funny people. Once they start to like you and they've already committed themselves to you, and now if you get yanked from them, they change their minds.
You know, Shanique, most of the former leaders of the Free National Movement, they had their discourse with people at the party, and it was never to this depth. And mind you, for the record, I'm not an F&M, so let's be clear on that. But from my recollection, though, you know, they treated people with the utmost respect, and even if you disagreed with them, they find a way to bring the common goal. As you know, I supported Reverend Butler Turner for leader on 2 occasions against Dr. Minnis. And when Minnis went to government, we were able to come to a common ground, and we were able to work our differences out. You know, this leader of the FNM is the epitome of petty, spiteful, and vindictive. And so that's what he did to Renwood Wells. Renwood Wells was the best choice for Bamboo Town. There was no other contender in Bamboo Town, like other seats where you had 4 or 5.
But don't the same leader you were referring to, doesn't he have the right?
The right?
The right.
Oh, the right?
To decide who he wants.
No, he has the right to care at the council. He has the right to take that to the council and let the council decide. Because hold on now, this name leader was duplicitous because he said initially that they were going to allow associations to make the recommendation to their candidates. He didn't do that. Some associations can get what they want and some can't. So you talk, they don't even go there with the right. He's duplicitous and he's a hypocrite. Because Wells is highly qualified and far better than Michael Pendat any day.
Shut.
Any day. Any day.
Let's go and talk about the seats that we should watch. Right. What races are you all watching and paying attention to?
Now, Kalani is the seat we're going to be watching. I hope Dr. Minnis nominates as an independent. I will be down in Galani campaigning with Dr. Minnis if he makes that decision. Anybody coming there. We can beat Lincoln, we can beat Tinkin, we can beat all. Whoever come in Galani, we can beat Darren Cash, we'll beat whoever you say.
Who name you call?
Darren Cash name was there, like Lincoln, Deal.
Deal?
Yeah, we can beat all that, all we can beat. And then we have my seat, the seat I want to watch too is Elizabeth, because I want to know where Dwayne Sands will go. There, I understand, Dwayne Sands is afraid. He can't go in these. He's trying to run in somewhere in southwest of the Providence. But you know, Dwayne Sands is not an electable. Dwayne Sands need to go run. No. But Dwayne Sands have to go run on a key.
Stop.
On a key, because they don't want to elect Dwayne Sands.
Glenroy, what seats are you watching?
I'm watching the one I live in. Obviously, that's
Which one is that?
Golden Isles. You know, I think Vaughn Miller's gone.
I differ.
Believe it or not, I think he's gone.
No, I differ.
I believe that you got the guy in Southern Shores from the BLP. I think he's gone.
Who's that?
What's his name?
Leroy Major.
Leroy Major. I think he's gone. There are one or two others. Obviously, there are ones.
The FNM has several people eyeing that seat, that constituency.
Southern
do we know Southern Shores?
Okay.
Do we know who the PLP is looking to have there?
No, we don't know. But I know Dwayne Sands.
You don't call that man name.
I'm telling you the fact, Dwayne Sands.
Nothing official as I am aware.
You already say you're not an FNM. Hush.
Yeah.
Glenroy, speak. Let me tell you something. You don't know that for a fact.
I'm in the know.
Nothing official as I am aware of.
So we don't know who the PLP has, and there are several FNMs, okay, and they've been on the ground walking for a minute. Anywhere else, I'll tell you that I understand is an interesting race happening as well and developing. Michael.
Okay.
And like some wonderful contenders as well.
Okay.
I wonder if any of the former names that were circulating in the past is now resurfacing, or is Fred Mitchell still saying no to the individual?
Oh, you're talking about that individual.
Yeah.
I've
Well, you know, I won't get. You know what I'm going to watch too? That Carmichael seat, because I need a Renthia Kumgalafi get beat her pants off her. I needed to go just sit down and leave politics. Because she has been all around the place like, yeah. So we don't need her in Dingham. I need her to get beat. That seat I can be watching as well. That same Michael seat.
What about the Grand Bahama seats?
Oh, well, here's the point. I think I understand that and again, in my inner circle, that the PLP might take out a seat or in Grand Bahama.
Really?
I'm understanding it. I don't know how factual it is. I think the East Grand Bahama seat will be highly watched. I think Central, Marco City will be highly watched, because if the PLP nominates Ellison Greenslade, Shanique, I will move to Grand Bahama today. I will move to Grand Bahama today, Shanique, to work in Marco City and then Shaw and Michael Pintar and see it.
They might sell Michael Darby.
No. We want Greenslade in Marco City.
Michael
He's an ideal choice.
Michael Darby better stay exactly where he is.
But that seat is another one that needs to be watched.
Which one?
Where Michael Darby.
Oh, he's going to win that. He's going to win that. He's a strong contender in the...
What kind of MP has he been in Tall Pines?
Yes.
Yeah.
You've heard anything negative today?
I have not heard anything.
Oh, well, so if you hear a negative, mean he's doing something, I believe. Right, but I can tell you, on Central Grand Bahama, we'll see where you'll give it to a new contender or you'll give it to somebody who, I don't know. But I think Central Grand Bahama is also a seat to watch.
So that Greenslade rumor is
if
shaking up?
Greenslade is the contender, if Greenslade, the Deshanique, becomes the candidate for the PLP tonight, I will be in Grand Bahama on the mail boat in the morning.
Yeah, Greenslade is
wonderful.
I will go on the mail boat in the morning back home to Grand Bahama to work every day, sun up and sundown, and ensure that Michael Pentard is moving House of Assembly.
Wow.
Me, every day. I'll go on the mail boat right tonight. Pack up all my things.
Listen to me, Lord. But Glenroy, I thank you for coming. I thank you very much for being here. Richard, thank you as well for
Always
being
good to
here.
be here.
Yes. You always have a lot to say. I know that for sure. Of course, I thank Linton Ritchie, who was live from Grand Bahama. Speaking of Grand Bahama, live from Grand Bahama this evening. Also, thank you so much at the top of tonight's show, Alfred Portier, a financial analyst and somebody in the business for over 3 decades, giving his perspective on that budget surplus and that little controversy about the April numbers. thank him as well. And I want to thank all of you for tuning in this evening. Listen, you all feel like how I feel? It's not hot in here, it's cool. It's good seeing you. It's good seeing all of you, and thank you for tuning in. I look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. We talking BPL, and I have one of the top people, so you got to tune in for that so we could talk about those bills. Until then, I'm Shanique Miller for the entire Beyond the Headlines team. Have a great evening.